give up on the scatter shield. It's a little bit of wasted time. The reason why I gave up on it is because my welder isn't strong enough to handle 1/4 inch plate steel. The arc on the wire, like it start stop like pop pop pop, and it just won't make it continuous. So I'm gonna give up on that for now. For right now, I just need the vehicle to run and drive. I'll worry about the scatter shield later. Because as of right now, I don't need a scatter shield until I can get everything running correct. So let's start getting the engine off the stand, get the rear main and everything. But first I've got to clear a path. As you can see, the engine stand's not going to get through this very well. So I'm going to work on making a path for right now, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so it's 5:08 in the afternoon. As you can see, I got the engine out here outside. I went through and did some things for the turbo. I cleaned out the lines from when I made them, so there's no debris in them. Started making the drain. I'm going to tighten or snug up the bolts for the turbo to the manifold for right now. I'm just going to drop the manifold in as an assembly as it sits. I did some work for the vacuum line since it's going to be under pressure. I've got one-way check valves in here, and I got another one for the brake booster. What else did I do? I made sure and rechecked the tightness of all the cam tower studs. I remember I had helicoiled this one. I wanted to make sure I torqued it 20. It says 21 in the book, but at 21.5 foot-pound to start to slip, so I'm gonna leave it be. I gotta take the alternator off the other engine. I've got to make sure the cam gear bolts here are tight. I did retorque and put a Loctite on the main bolts, these two here, but I need to recheck the other ones, which I have not done. I know I want to make sure this engine's right. The book it calls for 15 foot-pounds, so, and looky-loo, it's a smaller one. So these are 12 points. I think they're 8s. Yep, they're 8s. So 15, and there's 5 of these, so these prevent the cam from slipping. Ooh, that one was loose. Okay. Building a motor like this, always double check your tightness, especially on some parts before you put the motor in. I'm going to double check the head bolts, make sure those are tight. I put the mount on here from the other engine. I'm going to have to rotate this a little bit just to get that other one into a clearing. There. Okay. We're good. Always recheck them. I'm going to have to check the tightness on them every now and then. The reason being, if you remember from video or part 23 when I did the timing, I cut the valve cover out so I can get the cam gears changed timing if I need it to. But the other reason why I did this is so that I can keep the valve cover on or valve cover. Forgive me, timing cover. I'm losing my mind focus. It's getting later in the day, and I really want to get this in. Timing cover. Why did I say valve cover? Timing cover, because I don't want any rocks getting up in there and screwing with shit. So I did it this way, and it'll work. It'll work nice for now. So, I had to do a stud. I had to make a stud from a bolt I had for the turbo, because right here I can't get my Allen key in there with a ball head on it so very well. So what I did is I cut the head off, put red Loctite on it, high temp, and then I'll just snug that up close to what it should be. The book says 23 foot-pounds for a turbo model, and then plus 65 degrees. Well, these aren't torque to yield bolts, so I'll probably go 25 and see how it feels. That's pretty much where we stand. I'm getting ready to take the manifold off, set it aside, and then get the transmission over here. And I also don't have the exhaust gasket in here either, so I'm gonna have to do that as well. Need something to hold these. Something like a kick. Accident. This one. I'll tell you, these are going to be a lot of fun trying to torque these. Especially in the car where your movement's going to be limited. I'm going to take these two out of here first. That one. There's two that sit next to one another, and they're a bit of a pain. So I may end up doing those two last. And it's in the car. Oh, there it is. Nothing. Okay, so obviously the last one's holding it. Oh, I also did put a EGR block off for right now until I can figure out how to. Oh, where's that wrench? How to adapt the EGR to it. You're an 11. Where's a 10? Here she be. That should be all of them, okay. And so, there should be. I'll use a heavy son of a. There we go. There we go. Alright. That'll do. That'll do. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Okay, so now I'm going to work on getting the alternator. So we're going to go over here. Not a very good angle. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna need it's like a 12 or 13 ish. And right on a 13. Okay. I'm going to have to take this sliding piece too out of this one. Belt to loosen. Nope. It's in there. Okay. Okay. Now I need a 12. What is that? 12. 14. There we go. This would also give me a chance to put on the, no. It's actually larger. 14. Okay. 14. Where is it? I had it. Ha! I found it. Wow, that. Okay, it's not a 14. It is a 13. Yeah, I had a 13 as well somewhere. Bubble wrap. Come back here, I need you. Alright, well, I'm going to focus on this other nut down here. He said nut. Mechanic joke. That sucker's in there. Go away, Wolverine. Go away. There we go. There's one piece I need. Okay. Zap that off. Okay, maybe it might help if it's the right size. Okay. It was a 13. It's you, and I'm going to need you. Come on. I got it. That sucker was fighting me. Now you really want to fight me, don't you? You're not giving up. Alright. Guess what, alternator? Guess who's boss? On these alternators, or the mounting bracket, there'll be this little bushing here. If you knock this bushing away from the mount, you can fit this in there a lot better a lot of the time. Whew. Hey, you really want to fight, huh? Alright. Moving back over. Okay, so I am going to knock this bushing around. Slap it silly a little bit. Just so I don't fight it. I'm just gonna be careful with it because I don't want to break off the positive wire to the battery. There, that's far enough. You see, it just fits right in there. I don't have to fight it. The only thing I probably might end up fighting is this. Nope, not even. I gave up without a fight. There we go. There's the alternator. Just gotta snug these up. I'm gonna put the belt on now since I have a chance. I just gotta go get it. Go. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright. Got a Gates Kevlar racing belt here. Much stronger. So this should fit. And the crank pulley is actually underdriven. At least it should. Unless I grabbed the wrong one. Let me check with the other one. Gimme. No, identical. So, belt's too long now. By yay much. Ain't that pleasant. I bet you I know what I can do. I might be able to lengthen this or shin this bracket enough, maybe. Oh, this is going to be a pain. Boy. Well, I don't necessarily have to put this belt on right now. Okay, well, there goes that belt. I'm going to have to get a different one now. Alright, this belt's meant for the factory crank sprocket. That's wonderful. I'll have to do research tonight and find a shorter belt temporarily. What's next? What is next? Alright, I'm just gonna work out this. I'll be back. Okay, time to put the motor in. It's time to do this. Em, can I get you to stay on this, please? Please? Stay it. Please stay standing on it. It's just to help balance the weight out on it. Hold on. Now the tricky part, getting the motor in without hitting anything. And do this slowly and carefully. Try not to catch on anything and rip it out. Get out of my way. Did this, I didn't have the seat bracket on. This is the painstaking part. It really is. Still recording? Yes, we are. Camera cut on me last time. Battery exhaustion. Okay. It's Saturday, August 7th. I was up real late last night putting the motor in. I finally got it in. I gotta go around and tighten the bolts on the mounts more. Couldn't use the impact, it was like 11 o'clock at night, so it's in. I've got some loose ends I need to button up, and pretty much today it's going to be the valve cover, ignition coil, battery, starter, cross member. I've got to go find a different belt for the alternator so I can have at least a charging system for now. I ran into a snag and the manifold was hitting. You can see where it was hitting. The cable box for cruise control. But the video where I put the clutch on is gone. Battery exhaustion, and then said no file, no image on file, so I'm not happy about that. I guess we'll just have to get to it. There's some vacuum lines that need to be hooked up, and need to get those done here. So, alright, we'll just have to get to it. Alright guys, it's the afternoon of Saturday. I've got the turbo on, mounted, bolts are torqued. Figured out a way to do oil drain without doing the sump pump, but we'll see what that does. It should work, hopefully, because there's not much resistance and there is a slight slope to it, so that should help. I have to go back to the factory radiator. I was going to use a Mishimoto radiator, but the core was about yay, and it wouldn't sit down in the mounts, bottom mounts at all. So this, I'm not happy about it. I specifically told the guy who made the manifold that I'm using a 3-inch core, or 3-row core, so I don't get why that wasn't taken into account. Then again, he's really forgetful, so I think that'll be the last time I ever use him. I've got the air dam off and trying to fit up the radiator fans. I get one on the driver's side, but the passenger side I can't. I gotta get a smaller one. Pretty much this is dead in the hole project right now until I can get different parts, trade off some parts or something like that. I'm gonna have to modify, I think I already mentioned this earlier, I'm gonna have to modify the cruise control box there. Most of the wires are ran and hooked up, except for a few. I gotta put the axles in and find a way to get the wheels on, just so I can get in the garage tomorrow night. Other than that, I'm pretty much done for the day. Valve cover's on. I'm really tired. My vacation's pretty much over, so this is just gonna have to be something I'm gonna have to work on every night after work. But for now, I'm just giving up. A lot of things have gone wrong this past week, and I'm not particularly happy about it. Just seems everything I try to do always goes fucking wrong. But you can see there's the starter. It's a real tight fit in there. I have to figure out a way to put some heat protector. I still have to put the turbo blanket on, so amongst some other things. But this will be something that won't be driving anytime soon, so I was hoping to have this all done before Colorado Mile, but at this point it looks like I won't be able to make that at all. Not unless I take this down in a trailer and only run it for short periods of time without cooling or something. So that's where we stand. I'll tinker a little bit more on tomorrow, but I'm really tired. I've been up till midnight every day trying to do this. It's just not working for me real well. So, alright, well, I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, it's Tuesday. Last night and Sunday I did some work. The axle kit I had, it turns out it's not correct, so I'm not happy about that. So I had to find another factory hub and put that on so I can get this mobile to take to the exhaust shop tomorrow. I'm going to try to do the intercooler stuff tonight, hopefully that'll work. And then do one or two more wirings, hopefully. But for now, let's prime it. I've got to prime, every time you do a new motor, brand new, refreshed, and you drain all the oil out of it, you got to prime it. You have to prime it. If you don't, you may just swell seize the engine that way. It won't be good for it. So, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to touch the starter solenoid to power, and it should crank it over. I didn't put the plugs in yet, or the wires, just to help it crank over. So, make sure that the car is in neutral too, and don't have the power on. Okay, I did bleed the clutch somewhat, but it probably won't be enough, so I'm gonna have to have help with that later. Okay. Here we go. Pick one. It off, let it starter cool. Right now I'm checking the turbo for any leaks. I'm waiting to see if this gauge comes up on the turbo. Something's making a funny noise over here. It's making a funny noise. Let's check this. Alright. Motor should be good and primed. So now I'm going to turn the key and try to get fuel, blow the lines out of any debris. So hopefully this fuel pump will work. Okay. I don't know if I got any fuel out of that. A little bit. Okay, so we should have gotten fuel out of it. Okay. So now, fuel out of it. I'm going to connect it to the fuel pressure regulator and set this. Once I set this, I'm going to check for any leaks after I cycle it a few times more. I'll get this on here. I'm going to set something under it to catch anything if it does, because below it's the not something I want fuel on. Okay, fuel pressure is too low. Okay. Checking for fuel. Possible leaks. What is this? Fuel, where's that coming from? Okay, I have a fuel leak, a small one. And it looks like it's coming from above the tank. Okay. That was my fault. Okay, that one's my fault. I didn't tighten the fuel line at the fuel pump good enough. Okay. So we're still too low for 20 psi. So I'm going to turn this fuel pressure regulator up just a bit. Okay, so it's a standard size. Okay, I don't know where it went, so. Let's see where it's at. Okay, it's still not high enough. Okay, so I'm going to start checking for leaks again. Okay, this is really starting to get on my nerves. Really like to have my key. Where did I set it? Is this it? Hey! Hooray! We're there. Okay, we're at the desired point. So that's where I want fuel. Got it set to about 40 pounds for now. That may change here in the coming days. Okay. So again, checking for leaks. Make sure that's fitting the type vector one last time. tighten those. I thought I did, but I was doing measurements with the hoses, so. Okay, so now we got the fuel where we want it. And now I've got to calibrate the wideband. So I'm going to go to the controller and press the button. Okay, so the sensor's calibrating. So now I'm going to come over here and we're going to hook the laptop for the piggyback up. Try to get you as close as I can so you get a general idea of what's going on here. Okay, so the center for the O2 is calibrated. Okay, which manual is it? This one. Japanese, English. Okay, so instructions say it's also condition on main unit, condition on. So I'm going to start the program. Come on. So, driver ignition on, start. Okay, so turn this key off, position. Receiver, turn position off, on position double. Okay. Screen. this might be taking a little bit. Alright guys, it's about a day or two later. It's Thursday. I finally got the computers to communicate. There was a driver that was missing, and I finally found the driver in the program, the actual eManage Ultimate program, in the program files under pre-install. You have to pre-install the driver in order to get it to communicate. So I've got it working now. As you can see, I have it on, and you can see in the bottom corner it says online. So today's the 11th. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, open up the vehicle, skip that. Okay, so as you can see where we are with this, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and tap the throttle from the cable, from the throttle pedal. So that should give me an accurate of what's actually going on. Zoom in so you guys can see this actually happening. Focus. Okay, so you can see where it is now. So throttle all the way down, all the way up. And you should see min, max, and where it is now. Click apply. Okay, so channel settings, take temp, signal, apply. not used, analog not used, analog output not used, apply, intake temp sensor, front panel, gravity pressure is option 1, option 2 is the air fuel serial I'm not going to use right now. I have something else for it. Air fuel target, map, water, throttle position, start time, feedback, option 2, injectors. I'm going to go ahead and tell the computer that these are not used. I was going to use relays, but I decided not to. So 1650. Lag time. Let's say I'll leave that alone for now. Put start. Trace, map select, main logger. Okay, so we're ready to go. Injector map number 1. So I'm gonna screw with this here. Okay, so here we go. Shot number 1. Of course, the battery has to be low on charge. Okay, so positive. Okay, let's find the stand. is the let's connect it. Okay, so I smell fuel. Wow. wonder if we even have spark at all. It's really rich. It's like 10 on the gauge. It's like almost pegged, like 10 to 1. I gotta get these injectors way the fuck down. Need something. It's all connected in. Should be at least. Alright, let me figure out the spark and I'll be back. Okay guys, I figured out my problem. I had no spark whatsoever. I had plenty of fuel. It had power, so the only thing is that I had the wires mixed up for the piggyback system, so hopefully we got it now. So fire this once and then we'll deal with it tomorrow. No sparky yet. supposed to be at the KBPI show today, but didn't make it because I had a lot left over to do. And she's running. You can see she's running. So there's a couple things I don't like. I'm gonna have to do. The intercooler piping on the passenger side's too low, so I've got to do something about that. I've got I broke the radiator inlet, so got to get another radiator, and I'm still dealing with some overheating issues, but she's running, so thankfully, hopefully it'll be downhill from now. Alright guys, a small update. It's September 7th, 2015. It's 9:46 in the morning. The car has took a nosedive for the worse. On September, I want to say it was August 30th. The car was running. I was doing some more tuning, and then it was at an idle, and then all of a sudden it stopped running. The Woodruff key in the crankshaft vibrated out again, I don't know how, and sheared off. I think partly because the crank gear was a little too loose on the crank. Took the key out, and then there are some good grooves in the valves, or not the valves, the pistons from the contacting the valves. I got a new gear and Woodruff key, retimed it, did a compression check. The valves are completely bent. There's no compression in it whatsoever, so I've got to take the cylinder head off, redo the valves, get a closer look at the dents and the pistons, make sure there's no holes. I put my borescope down in there, so that's how I know that the pistons are damaged. I just hope I don't have to buy new pistons, because then the whole motor has to come out, and I don't want to do that. But I'm still trying to get over my frustration and anger from what happened. It's about a week and a day later, and it's just the reason is I put so much time, money, and effort, just so much work and blood, sweat, and tears into it, just to have something nice. And I've had a lot of fueling issues with it. I was getting closer and closer, and then part of the problem I was having was due to the fact that the check engine light was on for the injectors, and I finally put the injector eliminator in for that because I knew I was going to have something like that. And it helped fix it and made it lean out, and that's when it took its nosedive. The key let go, and that was the end of that. So currently, as of now, I've got the old school Impala out and fixing that so I can drive it until I can get the head off and get the valves and everything together to fix it. So over the winter, it's going to get fixed. It's going to be right. Keep working on it. Keep at it until it's right. It runs. It's reliable. I haven't given up. I've given up somewhat, but I haven't lost my determination to do this. I was supposed to be at Colorado Mile this past Saturday on the 5th and 6th, Saturday and Sunday, but with the car with no compression and the valves bent the day before, there's no way to really fix it. So this will also give me a chance to reroute the passenger side intercooler piping. I have a plan to take the lines, make them rubber so I can route them differently and put a different cooler on for the power steering. And give me a chance to do the rest of the repairs I need to do, or the rest of the installs, like the oil cooler, the methanol injection, the cryogenics, the axles, which they've almost got it finished. They're setting it out the end of this week on the 11th is what I've been told. But sometimes some of the stuff doesn't go the way you plan, so don't hold me to that. I may start working on the suspension, putting new bushings into it, coilovers with the controller on the inside so I don't have to adjust it, get out, adjust it, get back in, test it again, and all that. So basically adjust on the fly. As for the injectors, they're still good. It's just the offset. The reason why I was running so rich is the offset wasn't correct. I had the offset 1.5, and it really needed to be at 0.5 millisecond offset. So that leaned out way a lot and gave me more adjustment on the maps. One of the other fueling issues I've been having is that I'd get into the pedal, it would break up, and then it would finally start accelerating. That's due to too much and too little fuel in certain spots. I've got that fixed a little bit until the car took a nosedive. So, the other fueling issue I was having was I'd be running 10-to-1 at cruise and light pedal, and that was because the offset wasn't correct, and I had too much. I was adding fuel on the map trying to compensate for lean on acceleration, and I should have been using an adjustment map for that. So this is a learning curve. I've dealt with some similar systems to this, but this is a little bit different, so I've been a learning curve. But like I said, I'll get it eventually. I know I'm still learning. There's still things that I do need to learn, but those just haven't come up yet. But with this has actually helped me improve and gotten much closer and much more knowledgeable. This whole project has been really a good learning experience for me, I think, overall. I know now what needs to be done and what I need to do to fix this. So I was hoping to have this whole project done this past August and before December of this year, but as it sits, I'm gonna have to fix it again, and then I know there's gonna be other things and more updates coming for this project, because the engine was one of the biggest parts. The next steps is going to be suspension, tuning, and then maybe paint touch-up, because clear coat's fading off in the back hatch, and there's spots that are starting to show rust and paint flaking. And granted, this is the original factory paint on this car. That has not been repainted once at all. So, for what it is, it's 17 years old, I believe. It's just in okay shape, but it's deteriorating, just like how all old cars do. They deteriorate, and they get to a point where it's just not fixable. So I got to do something before that happens. And then hopefully we'll make the race season by April or March of this coming year. Hopefully I'll make, if they do bring this back, the Colorado Mile next year, hopefully I'll be able to do that and maybe some other things. So pretty much until then, this is where the car sits. This is what I have to do until the car is fixed and running again. The crankshaft, this is the other part I should probably mention.
I'm still tired. I was up late last night. And the crankshaft, the snout, at first I thought it broke off, but it didn't. And the only saving grace that didn't tear the snout up from where the gear is supposed to sit is I had put anti-seize in the gear. And that saved it from galling deep scratching. There is a small dent, but it's not very much. Since I've got the new gear, which it went on like a really hard press fit, so that should really help save me later when the car is running, when the engine is running again. Sorry. I just hope I don't have to take the block out and do new pistons, because if I have to do that, then I have to take the crank out, and then I have to have balance the entire crank with the new pistons, and that is a really big job and a pain. I just hope I got lucky on the pistons, at least. I know I didn't get lucky on the valves. That's pretty much it for this update. It's sitting in the garage, protected. It's up on a jack stand, and the timing cover is still off on it. All I really have to do is disconnect the fuel throttle cable, take the manifold off from the turbo, and all that, and take the head off after draining the coolant. Pretty much we'll assess the damage much closer. Alright, until next time, I'll be gathering parts again and getting this fixed. Till next time.